Hello students, I am Kulkarni from Deccan Education Society's Brihan Maharashtra College of Commerce and Ramanbagh Junior College, Pune. Students, today I am going to continue the prose, that is 1.4, Big Data, Big Insight. In the last lecture, we have seen what is meant by big data, how huge this big data is, and then we have started discussion about the different uses of big data, how this big data is useful in location tracking, then healthcare industries, in weather forecasting, and it is also useful in finance sector. Now, today we will continue with the uses of this big data. So students, we will start with the presentation. So now next point, that is fifth point, sports. When watching a cricket match, we are shown so many permutation and combinations of statistical analysis. A gigantic data, the meaning of gigantic, extremely big. So a gigantic data has been created over a period of time from the recording of matches, training sessions and workouts. The data enables a sport person to study his performance as well as of the other players worldwide. It has tremendously helped in improving individuals as well as team performance. The sensors embedded in the sports equipment help us to understand our game from close quarters. The sensors help us to understand the field conditions, the weather, individual performance, etc. Video analytics help us to see each and every performance minutely. So students, this fifth point, sports, it is very easy to understand because we all like to see matches on television. So now we are going to see how this big data is useful in sports field. So students, when we watch a match, we are able to see on the screen the previous record of other matches also. If a batsman entered into the field, immediately on the screen, we are able to see that batsman's previous records. Even on the internet, through Google, you are able to get each and every information about a particular sportsman. So how these all things are possible? Because of big data. An extremely big data has been created by the period of time through the recording of matches. Even the training sessions of the players get recorded, and the workouts of these players, that videos are also get recorded. What is meant by this recording? This recording means collecting big data. This data enabled a sport person to study his own performance, as well as he is able to understand other players' performance also. The best example for this is if you have seen the movies like Dangal of Amir Khan or the movie like Chak De India of Shah Rukh Khan, then you are able to understand that how the players watch the previous videos of the opponent player. They study that previous videos. Now how they are able to see that previous videos? Because of the recording and because of the big data which get collected by the sports field. Now the next use is that the sensors which are used in the sports equipment, they are also helpful to understand that particular game very closely. For example, the sensors which are placed in the stumps, Okay, that sensors very nicely acquaint the close relationship of the batsman with the ball. So in this way, this big data is useful in the sports field. Next, sixth point, advertising. Advertisers are one of the biggest players in big data. Be it Facebook, Google, Twitter, or any other online giant, all keep a track of the user behavior and transactions. These internet giants provide a great deal of data about people to the advertisers so that they can run targeted campaigns. Take Facebook. For example, here you can target people based on buying intent, website visits, interest, job roles, demographics, the meaning is statistical data, and what not. All this data is collected by Facebook algorithms using big data analysis techniques. The same goes for Google. When you target people based on clicks, you will get different results. And when you create a campaign for leads, then you will get different results. All this is made possible using big data. So students, here in the sixth point, we are able to understand how big data is useful in advertising. So when you are using Facebook, when you are using Google, when you search for something, or when you watch videos on YouTube or Netflix, your every activity knowingly, unknowingly get recorded. And when you search for a particular product on internet, that information get recorded, and this recorded information, which is known as big data, so they provide this big data to advertising companies so that these advertising companies come to know about the latest trend, what is going on in the market, and accordingly, with the help of that, they are able to plan for the next things which they want to launch in the market. So these advertising companies also pay a lot of money for this big data. Even they pay for the Google also for the information which these Google collect from the people based on the clicks. The way you click on any app, the way you search for anything on the Google, everything get recorded by Google. And this information, this Google provide to different advertising companies. So in this way, this big data is useful for the advertising companies for their future plans. Seventh point, entertainment and media. In the field of entertainment and media, big data focuses on targeting people with right content at the right time. Based on your past views and your behavior online, you will be shown different recommendations. This technique is popularly used by Netflix and YouTube to increase engagement and drive more revenue. So students, here you are able to understand how this big data is useful in entertainment and also in media sector. So when you search for any video on YouTube, for example, you are going to search for any recipe on YouTube, immediately your activity get recorded by this YouTube app. And after that, this app started sending you notifications related to your search. So how they are able to send these notifications? Because they have recorded your previous activity. And after that, whatever searches you have made online, that activities get recorded in the form of big data, and they provide this big data to entertainment and media. So with the help of this, they are able to engage you and they are able to get more and more revenue also. Now even television broadcasters are looking to segment their viewers' database and show different advertisements and shows accordingly. This will allow better revenue from ads and will provide a more engaging user experience. So here in this small paragraph, it is given that how this big data is useful for the television companies. So when you search for something and when you watch any TV serial, according to that timing and the TRP of that particular serial, how many viewers are there for that particular serial, according to that data, the television broadcasters, they show different ads, and by showing that different ads they are able to get more and more revenue. So how this is possible? This is possible only because of the big data. Eighth point, education industry. Big data has inundated, means to cover like a flood, the education industry. It has transformed it in leaps and bounds. Now we have information about the students, their study pattern, and we can now prepare customized and dynamic learning programs according to the need of an individual student. Every student's comprehension level is different. The course material can now be designed catering to different requirements of the students. Big data makes it convenient to understand their choices, their difficulties, information regarding various courses, and their specialities. We also have an access to the results. So first we will come to know about this. In the half paragraph, it is given that how big data is useful in education industries. So here, when you search for any study material or when you search for any information related to study on internet, your every activity get recorded. Second thing is that every student have different comprehension level, means the grasping capacity, understanding level of every student is different. So with the help of this big data, these education industries, they are able to design and they are able to provide different things related to students, and they are able to do catering to different requirements of the students. Big data makes it convenient to understand their choices. Their means students, their difficulties, and the information regarding various courses and their specialities. Students, when you were in the school, I think you all have given the Kala Chatsani in Marathi. So what is the purpose of this Kala Chatsani? What is the intention of this test? Why government used to take this test? The answer for this is they take this test to understand students' choices. Through this test, government is able to understand the difficulty level of the student, in which field they have more interest, in which courses they want to take admission in future. So they collect this big data through these different tests. And this big data, it is useful for the education industries to make the future plans. We also have an access to the result. From the result, we can gauge. The meaning of gauge, to judge the progress of the student, understand his strength and weaknesses. This will also help in guiding the students regarding the best career for him based on his mental makeup and abilities. An in-depth study of all this would definitely give new insights into the education industry and help in improving the operational effectiveness and working of educational institutions. This would in general enhance progress of all the students. Big data has provided a solution to one of the biggest pitfalls in the education industry, that is one size fits all. The meaning of this phrase, one size fits all, is suitable for all, useful for all. So here in this paragraph, further it is mentioned that with the help of big data, we are able to create examinations, because when the school or colleges, they take the exam, the result they try to record or maintain that result for the further plans. And with the help of this judgment or with the help of this result, they are able to analyze the progress of the students. They are able to understand his strength. They are able to understand his weaknesses. And with the help of this strength and weaknesses, they are able to give guidance to that particular student regarding the best career available for him in the future. We have innumerable uses of big data. It is helpful in scientific researches, understanding geographical phenomena, helping in the smooth working of the government machinery, etc. It is a genie in our hand. It lies in our hands to make the optimum use of it for the benefit of mankind. So, at last, here it is given that this big data is like a genie in our hand. We have to make positive use of this big data for the mankind and for the society. Now, after the explanation of this lesson, I am going to discuss few questions from the brainstorming. First question. Make point-wise notes from the lesson regarding the uses of big data in the following application. Do not write complete sentences. Means here you have to write few short points regarding location tracking and healthcare industry. Don't write long complete sentence. It is given in the question that you have to write short points. So here I am providing you ready-made answer. First one is the location tracking. So how big data is useful in location tracking? Answer number 1. It is used to identify and track location of a place by Google Maps and GPS system. Second, we can plan route according to travel time and transportation of goods with the help of big data. Third, companies reduce risk in transports and improves the speed in delivery. So these are the few uses of big data to improve the location tracking. Now B, healthcare industry. Answer, first point, various apps, smartwatches, gadgets, etc. collect data about different functions of our body. So through this first point, means through these apps, gadgets, devices, big data is useful for the healthcare industries for smooth functioning. Second, doctors can have a better diagnosis and gets information about effects of any drug. Third, it helps in monitoring the outbreaks of the epidemics and diseases. Third, it is education industry. The last point which I have explained you. So student, I have given you the answer of first 2 points. Now try to find out the answer of this third point by your own. Second question, when you are asked for personal details on social media, what precautions you will take? Discuss in pairs and write down. Answer. First, try to find out who wants your personal details and why. Second, don't share your credit or debit card numbers and Aadhaar card numbers online. Third, keep your social media account private and visible only to your friends. So if you will take such precautions, you are able to keep yourself safe from the frauds. Third question, do you think all the data we receive is used for positive things? If no, make a list of negative things which can be done with the help of big data. So students, in the lesson, we have seen that how big data is useful in different fields. But as the coins have two sides, here also we have to think about the other side also. So that's why it is given here that make a list of negative things which can be done with the help of big data. Answer. First, loss of privacy, as big data has all information about us. Second, misuse of personal information. Third, leaking of personal information leads to blackmailing, cheating, fraud, etc. Fourth point, data may fall into wrong hands and a person may be harassed. Now, fourth question. Guess the meaning of the following idioms and phrases and use them in sentence of your own. Number 1. One size fits all means suitable for or used in all circumstances. So, with the help of this, the sentence is given here. The wristwatches have adjustable belts, so one size fits all. Second, once in a blue moon. The meaning of this is very rarely. Sentence made by this, our maths teacher is very strict and smiles only once in a blue moon. Students, now we will see grammar. Do as directed. First, advertisers are one of the biggest players in big data. Instruction is given in the bracket. Begin the sentence with very few. So the answer is very few players in big data are as big as advertisers. Now again, for the same sentence, the instruction is different. The same sentence is here. Advertisers are one of the biggest players in big data. And the different instruction given in the bracket is use bigger than and rewrite the sentence. So the answer is very few players in big data are bigger than advertisers. Now second sentence. These internet giants provide the greatest data about people. Instruction is given in the bracket. Begin the sentence with no other. So the answer is no other networking services provide greater data about people than these internet giants. Now for the same sentence, the different instruction is given here. The sentence is, these internet giants provide the greatest data about people. And the different instruction is given in bracket, use greater than and then rewrite the sentence. Answer is, these internet giants provide greater data about people than any other networking services. Or you may write the previous answer also, because the previous answer also contains greater than in it. So you may write the same answer for the second instruction also, that is no other networking services provide greater data about people than these internet giants. Friends, today we learned how big data is useful in sports field, how it is useful in entertainment and media sector, how it is useful for the education industries also. And at last, we have discussed the questions from brainstorming. So now I hope you all have understood the lesson very well. Thank you.